right. Thanks, Rachel. So maybe we just started by a quick introduction, just one liner, and publishers get 2 lines. So, Jason, let's kick off here.
Hi, yes, Jason Barnes. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer for APAC at Pubmatic. So I look after our offices in Tokyo, Delhi, Sydney, and here in Singapore.
I'm Dr. Kim. I'm host in Bangkok, based for on the publisher side, and also the another hat as a president of Online Premium Publisher Association in Thailand that collect the same standard, the same cookies for the whole 12 publishers in Thailand.
Kim, just a quick one. Can you just talk about some numbers that your site is generating?
Okay. In Thailand, the population is about 65 million. Right now, we are conclude the whole data, the brand safety, and also try to bring the publisher as much as we can. We just launched OPPA on May 2017, but before that, need more time because the politics side, everyone is big. They have a million unique users every day. Right now, we have 77 million unique cookies of the local Thai web users, and also collect all the data, try to be the same standard at many publisher as we can. Yeah, that's it, that we are.
Hi everyone, my name is Mark Halliday. I head up the performance teams for Omnicom Media Group. So I guess my role on the panel today is to represent the buy side.
So hi, I'm Matt Moore. I'm Revenue Director at Kaidi.com, which is the largest C2C marketplace in Thailand. Think Thai carousel, basically.
And same thing, what's the traffic that you're doing on your site?
So we do around 7 million uniques a month, split between 20% desktop, 40% mobile web, and 40% apps.
Okay, great. So maybe you can just do a quick update on the market. What's everyone talking about in terms of the publisher side of things? So maybe let's start with Jason. What's top of mind right now?
Well, generally, our pubs have their top priorities are always around revenue, number 1, number 2, number 3, and then I'd say number 4 is around efficiency. So, to be honest, it's been a pretty tough couple of months, a couple of reasons for that. We've obviously had a huge effort across the whole industry around fraud, which I think has been great, but that's impacted everyone. It's impacted publishers. They've had to get a lot of third-party software in place. So while it's an opportunity, I think, to clean things up and get themselves to sort of be elevated above the crowd, I think there's also been pretty tough for them. Things like ads.txt, fantastic initiative, highly supportive of that. Again, additional work that's been required for a lot of the pubs. In Europe, we've heard a bit about GDPR. Some of the larger Asian pubs have been impacted by that as well. So that's been a key part. And then we have things like changes in auction dynamics, first price, second price. So a lot going on as always. And I think really our role has been trying to provide consultancy software to a lot of the publishers to try and help them sort of weather through this, while also, speaking a lot to the demand side about the new opportunities, the new publishers, the new inventory that we're bringing on board. And there's sort of a number of different ways that we've done this, from PMP through to header bidding implementation, which I think we'll get through a little later. But the growth is still there. It's definitely been a tough 12 months, but still grown quite significantly across the market. So that's why I'm feeling pretty good about the second half of the year and next year from a growth perspective.
And Mark, are you seeing the same thing from what brands are asking for publishers as well?
Yeah, I think over the last few years, the whole sort of programmatic ecosystem and the publisher, the way publishers plug in, has really, we've almost gone full circle. So sort of pre-programmatic, I guess, a lot of the way that we were working with publishers was to, and the role of the agency was to come up with digital strategies and determine, using a variety of tools, which publishers were most relevant for the client. And then as programmatic and sort of data-led targeting came in, it was much more around moving to an audience buy, which could be across hundreds of sites. And now, given the I guess what some markets call the hysteria of brand safety, we've kind of come back now into the role of publishers and actually having that assurance of being in a very brand safe environment. So for us, I think it's the fact that we can now, as clients are now getting much more sophisticated with their use of first-party data, and the ability to apply data on top of a premium publisher buy, that changes everything. So the rhetoric from us and what's been demanded of us from clients has really gone back to from going across a white list of, let's say, 1,000 different sites to now how can we really have a premium layer within that while still using advertiser data.
And so for Matt and Kim, are you rolling in cash right now?
No.
Absolutely not.
I mean, from our side, one of the challenges that we're seeing now in Thailand is how to get closer to the demand side, because we are a Thai site in Thailand in Thai language, and although we're speaking to a lot of the local agencies, what we're realizing more and more is that a lot of the decisions, a lot of the regional decisions are coming out of here in Singapore, and it's how do we get our sites and our audience on the map for people here who are probably buying, English language sites across the region because it's just easier. So it's, how do we get closer to the buyers?
So you're a Thai website and catering for a Thai audience.
Yes.
Why would you want to come out of Thai and move to, get money from Southeast Asia? Is that because the decision makers come from this part of the region?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at, for example, trying to get the PMP buys, where the CPMs are way higher and the good revenue is, we're seeing most of the decisions coming out of either Singapore or Malaysia. And for the person who's actually setting up the PMP and looking for supply into that PMP to have the reflex to, I'll buy from that Thai website with all the funny writing on it, it's quite a challenge. So it's, we're trying to work out how we can get on the map in the region, basically.
Isn't someone like Mark trying to help you? Is there an agency somewhere in Thailand that can help make connections for you in this part of the region?
I won't name them, but the biggest agency group are quite good at doing that in the region by running summits in the area. But it's still, there's two barriers. There's a language thing, and then there's also the fact that Facebook and YouTube are extremely dominant in Thailand in terms
in
of...
Thailand too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, in terms of the amount of time that people spend on their mobile phones on Facebook and YouTube in Thailand, it's...
How do you say Google in Thai? I'm just kidding.
Google.
So just some wrap up about the APAC, because I'm personally moving around for the whole APAC, run the ticketing business here. If the guys, AFF Suzuki Cup, the soccer match that very famous around here, like Indonesia, when we talk to the Football Association, they told it's a religion there, 100,000 on the road going to the stadium. We moving to Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Malaysia, all around to run the business and collect the data. Because you buy a ticket, right? Once you buy a ticket, we kept the cookie. We know the personalized what you are. Southeast Asia, the first one is a localized. If you are Singapore, I can say you are more international. But if you go into Myanmar, the change is very fast. On year 2013, I bought one SIM card. It's like $200 US dollars. In the next year, you pay $2. You got some change back. And the numbers of the online user is come up very fast. But mainly, CPM over there is drop like hell. It's serious. And the users, they're not going to web. They're going to Facebook mainly. 14 million, they're going to Facebook like a 95%. To the website, it's dropped every month. Especially in Thailand, right now, people go to the website. Compare last year and this year, it's dropped about 20% at all. You can find.
And on that point...
Localized is Southeast Asia, APAC.
Yes, and on that point, as a marketplace, you now have Facebook saying, we're going to launch Facebook marketplaces. You're like, great, that's cool.
Okay, for the publisher side, I think right now it's good to have technologies, providers, solution providers come to talk to us more closely and to run those kind of the private marketplace individually together for your brand safety. But we have a lot of things that can working together, like the first one, the native. You want influencer, right? We have. We do TV, we do radio, we do concert and events. You want the customer data? Yes, we have. We do a movie tickets. You can combine and talk to us like a more closely than ever. That is my first opinion.
So are you guys still battling for ad dollars that are going to the two biggies, also in Thailand and this part of the region? And how are you guys actually then trying to convince the ad dollars to be spent on you? Because you have 7 million.
77.
And you have 7 million. That's not chump change, right?
Yeah, and we have that. We have intent data to go with it. We're a marketplace, so we know who's looking at cars, who's looking at real estate, who's looking at mum and baby for the FMCG things.
So why aren't brands buying from you guys and buying from Facebook and Google?
I think possibly there's a little bit of laziness in there. I mean, it's very easy for people to just like look at the reach in Thailand of those two and just say, okay, well, I'll spend with those two and then maybe a token local publisher.
Okay, so let's ask Mark and Jason, what are the brands telling you guys that the publishers like Kim and Matt aren't giving them that Google and Facebook are?
But I think we are always trying to find the most accurate data out there. And if we've got really interesting intent data from great local publishers, we are more than interested.
Matt has the data, Matt says.
Well, great.
We talked about it already, yeah.
And I think that's where somebody like Amazon's actually getting quite a bit of traction. And around the world, we've got auto manufacturers who are trying to, they've got if they're trying to find a family audience, we can go use Amazon's data to see who's been buying diapers or nappies, and that's ahead of it's ahead of a data point to indicate that somebody is part of a family unit. In the same way that if we can do that with great local publishers to understand who's in market for a car or who's part of a family segment or who's got an interest in gardening, whatever the key data point is, we are very, very interested in doing that.
So Matt has got diaper data as well. So why would a brand, if you're trying to convince a brand to buy from someone like Matt instead of someone like Amazon or Google, what do they come back to tell you?
It's rare that a client will push back on an agency. I guess ultimately our job is to look at any variable which could influence on performance. And our job is to be curious and tenacious and to be seeking out the opportunities with these publishers to say, actually, Mr. Client, we want to try this next. And we want to try it around a framework which will allow us to measure things properly. And if we have the ability to do it, we will push it. And it's very rare that a client will come back and say, I've never heard of that publisher, I want to stick with Facebook. It's down to, I guess, the strength of the relationship between the agency and the way that both the publisher and the agency then package up that opportunity. And if we do it in a smart way around great metrics and a great testing framework, then there's every opportunity for that to happen.
Yeah, I think data is still a huge opportunity. I think Matt and the team at Kaidi are very pragmatic about the use of their data. It's not the case across the whole region. So I think a lot of pubs are still out there and have a lot of ownership. They're pretty scared about releasing any of their data out. They like to perhaps keep it within the sales team or just keep it in-house. So I think that there's still a big opportunity around that inventory and that data getting monetized. And I think the other challenge is always, especially on Southeast Asia, is the fragmentation of the market. So multiple languages, multiple different countries. Obviously, the two big players have this sort of seamless data across the entire region, and certainly would make it easier from a buyer's perspective, I think. But to Mark's point, I think they're looking a lot broader now at what the other opportunities are. But I think the pubs can make more of their data available for trading, and I think the opportunity is there for the taking.
So in terms of data strategy and execution, how are you, Kim and Matt, how are you guys bundling data, and what kind of data do you guys have, and bundling that as part of your inventory? And does that actually convince brands to come with your platforms?
From our point of view, what we tried to do at the beginning was say, can we sell data CPMs? And we've worked on it for the last 12 months, and we're like, nope, nobody's willing to pay decent CPMs for data in the region. So our take on this now is talking to the big agency groups and saying, listen, if you can give us a minimum monthly spend, you can have all our data and do what you want with it. Just guarantee us some money.
Okay. As the for OPPA, the Online Premium Publisher Association in Thailand, we need to thank you, Inity and IDAC, to be our partner for collect the PMP, the programmatic data, as we get it right now. The data is in 1 year. We try to get the first thing is the numbers. The second thing is we try to integrate with the first-party data into the groups. Example, some of the site, they have the login data. They even us, we have e-commerce. We have put the data, the first-party data, into the group. And the good thing is, every country, if you have those kind of unity to make your publishers survive, the good thing is that the one standard is the way out for us to compete the global platform.
So you touched on OPA, and that was set up about a year ago, and I think there were 12 publishers in that co-op. How is that working out for you guys?
Hard time to get the all 12, the biggest, I can say. You see the kind of the 4 newspaper, the biggest in one country, come to be, hey, we need to shake hand. You see another 3 portal come to shake hand together. It's the hardest job, I can say.
Well, sorry, what's the hardest thing about it? Shaking hands or letting go? I mean,
do you have a word of frenemy? Frenemy, right? But we have to survive because the numbers of the digital association agency in Thailand, we got less than 10% for the whole media, online media buyers. The number is show up. We got less than 10% from the whole, like a 12 billion baht.
so, but the whole idea of the OPA was to band together, and you guys went in knowing that you're going to be frenemies, right? Because you're trying to compete against the big 2.
IO, each publisher, you're going direct. In Southeast Asia, I can say the relation and connection is the most important. It's not about the performance. Yet, it's that. You know who know you, how you talk, how you implement. This is the first key thing in Southeast Asia. The second thing, performance and the technology is coming up because the trading desk is not there. It's here, Singapore. In Thailand, we have only few people that doing very good performance, but they're keen to use those 2 platforms, not the localized, our self-service dashboard yet. But it will come one day. That's my opinion. Are you agree?
So you're still selling out of OPA more rather than selling
Sure.
through OPA?
Yeah, I can say.
So
We're selling IO
tell
more
me-
than the OPPA from the first year perspective. But in next 3 years, we say it might not.
So tell me the one good thing about the OPA since you've set up 1 year. What's been good that came up from that?
First
co-op?
one is we share the technology together. We come with a big trunk that can talk to the technology, hub of technology and implementators, and then the buyer also more strong. That's what we get. And we talk to kind of the people that we met in Myanmar, that they are, I can say, is struggling with the CPM price there. Even Google, you cannot search the whole sentence. If you have the space in one word, they cannot find it. But Facebook is coming very nominate over there.
Mm-hmm.
So each localized is have specific.
Yep.
OPPA, I think in the next 3 years, once we have the more first-party data, we recruit more like a Kaidi people in. We can kind of join and utilize first-party data together to make it strong and kept in the country. I can say that China is one of the good example.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And Kaidi, you're not part of OPA, right? Are you?
We're
talk a lot.
talking to OPA. I think there's a thing, and this is an issue for us, is that because we're a marketplace, or we're not an actual, what can be seen as a content publisher, then people don't see us as necessarily premium. And that's an issue for us. So that's why we weren't invited to the first round, but maybe we'll be invited soon, hopefully.
We've got Kim here now, so
We will open the second round very soon. Talk to a lot of a publisher, and they very interested to join.
yeah.
Like a big one, but not have some challenge. Need to cross it too first.
So a quick, we've got 5 minutes left. I want to ask, what do you think publishers need to do in APAC to better monetize their inventory? Because we've heard one of the big issues that we have in APAC is that a lot of brands do complain about the lack of quality inventory and the lack of scale. Do you still see that as a huge thing that brands do come up and say, hey, that's a problem in APAC, and that's why we keep going back to Facebook and YouTube and Google, because publishers here don't have quality and don't have scale. Is that changing, and how can we help publishers better monetize their inventory? Jason and Mark.
Yeah, I think from our perspective, one of the things that we've seen change the market and really being very positive for a lot of publishers is header bidding. So a couple of reasons why. A lot of the pubs in Southeast Asia, as I'm sure they will testify, have very little resource available. Their ad ops teams are small. There's a bit of a skills shortage. And through putting one piece of code on the page, we're bringing in 200 international DSPs, a bunch of exchanges, and a lot of local buyers as well through adapters into our header bidding. So through one piece of code on the page, we are making all of this inventory available to all global and local buyers. And we've seen huge, the experience at Kaidi was superb. 20 to 50, 60% increase in yields across the region. So that's been really positive for publishers. I think it's equally been positive for the buyers as well, because we've sort of opened up new avenues for how they can access this inventory. It's traditionally, all of it sometimes only been available through Google, and now we're opening up a whole lot of new opportunities for them. So I think that piece has been huge. It's driven yield, and it's increased the efficiency as well. But I think things are still getting increasingly complex. And I think some interesting things we might start seeing a little later this year, or maybe start of next year, is perhaps the use of more sort of platform as a service models for publishers. So I think with so much revenue going to programmatic, yields increasing, I think that standard rev share models might not be the way forward, that we could just have flat fees for software providers, and then the publishers and the buyers can go onto those platforms and just buy away. I think that's going to really push the programmatic growth to the next level for both sides. And then the last bit I'd say around that, I think, so the header bidding's been a big part in the growth. There's no doubt that video is experiencing still explosive growth. I think YouTube, as you say, is loved by all, and by the consumers and by the buyers. But I think all pubs to focus on premium quality in-stream and out-stream video, I think, is a big opportunity as well. And then we've spoken a bit around data already. I think that's the other key opportunity for me. Those three are probably things that can make a significant difference this year.
Mark?
I guess we are speaking to publishers about a number of different things. Better access to formats, better access to data, and more of a collaborative approach. I think that we are, we as an agency get judged on many different things when it comes to quality. So we want to make sure that we are putting a premium layer of publishers into our media plans, and we strategically plan the role of inventory around what clients are trying to achieve. With certain publishers, we literally have hundreds of different private marketplace deals, and that would be across each different format. It would be across different sections within a site, and it could be where a publisher is then overlaying their own data. So that's really super interesting for us, for at least even just for testing to see whether it has an uplift on campaign performance. We're also being subjected the requirement is to have higher viewability formats, and some sites do not have the greatest sort of infrastructure, or the way that their site is set up doesn't always lend itself to viewability, and that's where we as an agency can come in and help publishers as well, and look at solutions where we might come in with an ad server solution for high impact or rich media formats to try and solve some of those issues. So ultimately, I think that the world of programmatic trading, and I think the world of investment, and is really coming much more tightly together, which means that as we're talking to publishers, we're having many more data-led conversations about what we can bring from our experience and some of the things that we're demanding and are being demanded of us from our clients.
And Matt and Kim, how can the likes of Mark and Jason help you roll in more cash?
I think the first thing is putting us on the map, and secondly is, viewability is a big one, and for us as local publishers, we're getting exposed to this viewability thing that everyone's getting exposed to, and it's almost like we haven't learned to walk yet, and people are asking us to run straight away. So we're looking at solutions to be up there in the 60-70% on mobile web, which is like, okay, you want 60% on mobile web, otherwise you won't buy my media. That's a tough one, but there are solutions out there that help us do that, and we're moving in that direction. So I think it's important for us to be a premium and offer the same metrics that the big guys can offer as well.
Yeah, for the publisher point of view, I agree with Jason and Mark. It's improve every day, and we're learning a lot. Like before, okay, ad network, ad exchange coming is a waterfall, but why do you have header bidding? Why? And right now we have header bidding, but why you have open wrap on that one again? Is as a publisher side, we have 1,000 of staff who manage on the good content, provide the quality of content to the consumers, and not a subscription model, right? We do a free good stuff to the people. Even the video, yes, we have TV stations there. We have 3 TV stations in Bangkok, 2 in Myanmar. That needs a lot of manpower and stuff. Our business model is the advertising model. It means we need to implement as a buyers, as a media planner, as the client, the direct client needs. But right now, we can integrate it together on the TV, on the radio, on the out-of-home media, on the events, on the concert that we did, and especially for online to attract your brand to the consumer. That is a technology that we need, not just one point. This is the key for the future on the integrated marketing communications that we're looking for. But it's almost there, I can say.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.